Hey everyone, welcome back to PR and Test Drive. Today we're taking a look at the GV70. The GV70 is Genesis' most successful model to date, and for this model year, it gets a refresh. Not a big refresh, but then again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This one specifically is the 2026 Genesis GV70 Prestige. Let's check it out. This year, the GV70 gets 4 trims: the Advanced, base model Advanced, the Advanced Tech, the Prestige, and then the Sport model being the top trim with the V6 turbo. Now these aren't exactly a steal anymore, but do be reminded that these prices include all fees and deliveries, as well as 5 years worth of scheduled maintenance. So what are the changes for this model year? Now the front end might look pretty much identical to the previous model year, but in fact they have made some updates. The headlights now feature this micro lens array LED headlight design, which are the little dots of LED you see in the headlights here. It makes it a little bit more sophisticated. The grille now matches the GV80 with the double mesh design, and the lower bumper, they've also made ever so slightly some adjustments and some changes to it. If you opt for the Sport model, you'll also get a sportier exterior body kit. Under the hood is 2 powertrain options, well technically 3 if you count the electrified version. So a 2.5 liter turbo inline-4, a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, and a dual motor electric all-wheel drive setup. This is the base 2.5 engine, and it makes 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. If you go for the 3.5, you get 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. Both those engines are connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and power goes through all 4 wheels. One thing to note is that all Genesis ICE model gets a longitudinal engine layout, so this is a rear drive based all-wheel drive system. Over to the side, this Prestige model, although doesn't get the road preview adaptive dampers like the Sport model does, it does get these beautiful looking 21-inch rims and 4-piston brakes. These are equipped with 255 wide tires all around, and it uses McPherson struts in the front and a multi-link setup in the rear. Now, as for the rest of the side silhouette, it remains unchanged. You still get the chrome strip that swoops down over the C-pillar. You still have keyless entry on all 4 doors, and you also still have the puddle lamp at night for when you open the doors. Around back, there are also some minor cosmetic changes. For instance, the exhaust tips on the base engine is now hidden behind the rear bumper. In place of that is this V-shaped chrome lower section, which I think is heavily inspired by the GV80. The taillight lighting element has also been updated slightly, and the brake light shape has also been changed slightly. Aside from that, the only other change is the inclusion of this camera for the digital rear view mirror. Opening up the trunk, there is a good amount of space, and you also have 2 latches on each side of the trunk to fold down the rear seats. The rear seats do fold down completely flat, and it does also lock into place, which is nice. The only thing is that there isn't much space underneath the trunk floor, but there is enough space to store this privacy cover, which is a very neat touch. Inside this GV70, although isn't class leading in terms of space, it sure as heck feels comfortable. This trim gets Nappa leather seats as well as a suede headliners. These rear seats are very comfortable, they're heated, and you can also recline them quite far back. You also get your own climate zone back here, window sunshades, as well as a huge panoramic sunroof. But perhaps the best part about Genesis interior, in my opinion, is the sheer amount of color options you get to choose from. On this Prestige trim, you get 4 different color combinations to choose from, and on the Sport model, you get 7 other color combinations and pattern combinations for you to choose from. And they're all exciting colors too. For instance, on this Prestige model, you can get a purple interior color option, and on the Sport model, you can get blue interior with orange piping. It's great, I love it. Jumping up to the front seats, I'm pretty satisfied. The seats are very comfortable, they're heated, they're ventilated, they have massage functions, they're also memory. The material use and material quality in this cabin is exceptional. Even the door bins in the back is soft touch material, so Genesis have done an excellent job here. But you know what stood out to me the most? It's that even the steering wheel is softly padded, and for some reason it just elevated the whole car for me. Of course, they're also heated, but anyway, let's move on to the headline for this refresh, this 27-inch OLED screen. It does look really nice, the graphics are very crisp, and I like it in this car, but like I said in the GV80, in practice, it doesn't really add much additional functionalities aside from displaying a really wide map or showing a clock in the middle. Nonetheless, it does make this car feel more prestigious, and it does come standard across the board. The other change would be the dash and the center console area. The oval shape is still apparent, but they've moved the HVAC screen and some of the buttons around. Overall, I think in terms of layout, it's an improvement, except for the fact that you now lose out on the ambient lighting that surrounds this oval shape, which I loved about the previous model. There's actually more ambient lighting on this model now, but it would be nice if they kept that one as well. As for the rest of the cabin, this GV70 gets a head-up display, a wireless charger, as well as a 16-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which sounds fantastic. There's also, of course, the digital rear view camera that I mentioned earlier when we were at the back of the car. When I drove the 2024 GV70 Sport, which had the 3.5-liter turbo V6, a couple of years ago, I mentioned that although that was very, very nice, I would take the base engine, and I stand by that because this already makes 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. As far as base engine goes in this segment, this is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful in this segment. The power gains you get with the V6, although very noticeable, I just don't know if it's worth the premium and also the considerably worse fuel economy. We're at an empty straight road here. Let me show you what this 300 horsepower can do. Honestly, it's not bad at all. Now, you may argue that with that sport model and the V6, you're getting more performance and more athletics, but to be honest with you, it's nowhere near as sporty as, say, a GLC 43 or a BMW X3 M50. The GV70, even with that sport model, is a lot more comfort-oriented than sport-oriented. So to me, the GV70 is all about a pristine and relaxing drive, and for this area, it just does such an amazing job. The cabin stays quiet even at highway speeds, the suspension is soft, the ride quality, even with these 21-inch rims, is exceptionally smooth. It's just so comfortable. Pairing this with the soft leather and the comfortable seats and also the massaging seats, there's just not much else I can ask for. This Prestige model also gets the latest safety systems, so things like emergency braking, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot warning, parking sensors, as well as things like 360 camera, remote parking assist, lane centering, adaptive cruise control, and also automatic lane change on the highway if you do elect to turn that on. If you don't, you can signal and then the car will switch lanes for you. All in all, it's a very complete suite of system, and it works really well also. The adaptive cruise control and lane centering combo is one of the best in the business, so that's also fantastic. With all that said, no car is perfect, and this GV70 is no exception. I think there's a couple minor areas that this car is lagging slightly behind compared to its competitors. The first one being this engine. Although it makes good power, it has good torque, there's quite a bit of turbo lag, so accelerating from a standstill, it's not until about 3,000 RPM where you really start feeling all the power. The engine is also on the slightly rougher side. When the idle start stop do its thing at stops, turning off the engine, turning on the engine, it does shake up the car a little bit, so it's not the most pleasant thing on this luxury car. The second thing is fuel economy. Around town, I'm averaging about 12 to 13 liters per 100 kilometers, and on the highway, it's about 9 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, these are by no means bad numbers, but without any hybrid assistance, or at least mild hybrid, it's noticeably worse compared to, say, the BMW X3 we tested earlier this year, where I was able to achieve about 9 liters in the city and 7 on the highway. Now to wrap up, the Genesis lineup may no longer be drastically undercutting its European rivals in terms of price tag anymore, but in terms of material quality and luxuriousness as seen in this non-top trim GV70, it's punching way above its weight class. The Europeans still have better powertrain engineering and better mechanical refinement, but in terms of pure comfort, dare I say, they have a thing or two to learn from Genesis. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this new GV70. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.